Throughout his life, Jesus took on various roles. These are reflected in the different stories we hear in the Gospels and how the different Gospel writers present them. The stories of Jesus as healer are uplifting. Others feature Jesus as teacher and are instructive, such as the Sermon on the Mount. Still, in others, Jesus is a challenger, as in his dialogue with the rich man about leaving his possessions behind. In the Passion narrative we just read, it's as if Jesus brings all the experiences of his life to this vulnerable time of trial, suffering, and anguish. I invite us to experience Jesus as teacher in this moment of vulnerability. What is Jesus teaching us in this defining moment of his life through his being and presence? Although there are many teachable moments in his passion, I want to offer 3 that particularly touched my heart. The first is faithfulness. Jesus remained faithful to who he was and the path he needed to walk. In the Garden of Gethsemane, he prayed fervently that the cup of suffering pass him by, yet he prayerfully and faithfully surrendered to his Abba's will wherever that would take him. Jesus' way was peace. So when one of his companions drew a sword and cut off the attendant's ear, Jesus said, "Put the sword back." He was faithful, even in a time of trial, to the way of peace he was called to live. In our life, how are we summoned to faithfulness? Faithfulness to the call of our heart, faithfulness to our commitment to love in times of distress, faithfulness to the core values that make us who we are. The second Jesus teaching is companionship. Jesus asked Peter, James, and John to companion him in his deep anguish. Simon the Cyrenian helped Jesus carry the cross. The women remained with Jesus throughout his crucifixion, as well as following his death. In our lives, too, we need companionship. Who do we ask to walk with us in times of illness, uncertainty, grief, in times of joy and absolute delight, in life's ordinary moments? If I shy away from companionship and tend to go it alone, am I willing to take Jesus' teaching to heart? Will I reach out then to a fellow journeyer and ask them to walk with me on a particular stretch of trail? The third teaching is honesty of heart. Jesus' words from the cross, my God, why have you abandoned me, forsaken me," were brutally honest. There was no candy coating of his feelings. He held nothing back from his Abba. We, too, are called to that utterly complete honesty. Whether it is acknowledging fear, pain, anger, regret, or guilt, total honesty is essential to healing and to a deepening love relationship with the Holy One within us and among us. As a brief personal example, in 2009, I experienced a profound need for honesty of heart after I left the pastoral staff at St. Francis. I felt deeply wounded from being pushed aside, ignored, and disrespected, and had to look honestly at my wounded heart. After 15 years in that position, there were many layers to that wound that needed to be uncovered. I didn't realize how multi-layered it was until I had dinner with a close friend about a week after I left. Our deep conversation opened my heart completely to the many feelings and layers I needed to deal with in order to heal. Honestly, it was overwhelming. But I found that over time, being entirely honest with myself, with what happened, and with my God was essential to my healing. All three teachings, faithfulness to my call to ordination, companionship on the path to healing, and honesty of heart, propelled me to experience ever-deepening love and the gift of inner freedom. I believe our Mary Magdalene community has demonstrated these teachings from the beginning and continues to mature and evolve as we live into their deeper meaning. Thank you for gifting me with your presence, especially the way you have embraced me through these teachings, not only at the time of my ordination, but through the years as we have grown together. Each of us is called in our own unique way to faithfulness, companionship, and honesty of heart. May this Holy Week be a blessed time for you to reflect on these teachings of Jesus for your life. May you find love in abundance.